Hello and welcome in to the Sorare Data Show. I'm Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho and Sorare. Joined today by Mr. U23 Harry Trades. Harry, before we even get into what's going to happen with U23, how did you feel when you saw what's happening to U23?
I think it's taken me a little while really to actually, come up with an opinion, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And I'm still working on that because, again, like we're all saying, we can't see, the game week isn't next game week. We can't see it. It's not tangible, and that hinders my ability really to really see a vision for it. But it's gone from originally being quite negative after Sean probably bashed it for the first hour or so on your first show. But I think since then, I've managed to see a lot more positives in it, which I guess we can get, obviously, we're going to get into. But yeah, overall, I'm a lot more positive on it on the whole. Maybe when originally I was a little bit like, hang on a minute, will I really need to pivot here?
Mm-hmm. All right. That's fair. That's fair. Before we get into it, thanks for everyone for joining. David Marshall, who I'm guessing is not the goalkeeper that became very popular thanks to his low L15. But David Marshall, yes, you are first. Kev heard second. And there's like a no name here for me as third. It says the 240 score odds and the optimizer is a nice feature. I hit 342 on a 270 target last week. Oops, that happens. But those three are on the podium. So thank everyone for coming in. Ollie said, I've gone for a U23 Viborg stack. No more games against Midtjylland this season. 13 of 14 remaining against the bottom half. You got to love a good relegation split. That's all I say. It's Gusto was up. U23 for life. SR Monkey, ride or die with the U23. Love that. Coltrane, Simo, what's up? Good to see you. Brennan, everyone, let's go. Shaforko's here. Is this Jaskell? Or is it Jasky in real life? I don't know.
Yeah.
A Palmera, hello. It's Gusto said, it's funny how many like cards I have with Harry without even trying. Glad to see my U23 scouting is solid. I'm excited for triple entry in U23 in August. That's what I'm built for. We'll certainly get into that as well. Tom, hello. Let's see. Philly Dilly, here we go. Bouncy, Major League Soccer is back. Missing a word there. Sorare Scout, hello. Mike Bass, man, everyone's here. Mitch, Luke, thanks everyone for coming in. Hey, here he is. Chani, right on time. Long live U23. Harry, is U23 dead?
Great question. Like I said, I felt like it was maybe for the first hour or so after the announcement. And then, I've come around to thinking that in a weird way, it now stands alone, I think, doesn't it? In its own right bubble of some sort, to where it is going to be the only division where you can play any player in as long as they're under 23.
Yeah.
Obviously, no All-Star going forward from August onwards. So, yeah, from August onwards is what we're referring to here. That is literally the only competition as we know of. And I know there'll be special weeklies, fair enough. But on paper right now, that is the only competition. So, in its own little weird way, yeah, you can't win cash with in-season cards. Like, there's no in-season under 23 competition, as we know. And I think originally that was like the biggest negative point, wasn't it? Visually, when we looked at, Vitaly's graph and whatever, it was a bit like, oh, like it's the only one. But ultimately, it does have its benefits, right?
Mm-hmm. So I think you laid it out perfectly there, kind of like that's it. Those were the pros and cons. And I think that was the title of the show. So thanks everyone for coming in. We'll be,
I'm going.
But exactly what you said, like it's the lack of a cash competition, I think, is what made at least Sean like right away. And I think a lot of other people, he's hardly the only one who was like, oh yeah, so it's dead. Like we're not, if you can't win cash, and like technically you can still win cash because if podiums, the podiums for Division 1, and from what we gather, like that's the only place where podiums are. Cash is available there. And if you look at the current U23 setup, it's the same. So that was kind of the difference of opinion between Sean and I of like, if something is not worse in itself, but is worse comparatively to others, does that make it worse? So anyway, I think that's just an opinion standpoint. Like everyone can feel however they want. But if you play U23 today to win U23 cards, what happens in August? The only difference is that now you can play up to 3 times because there is multi-entry for U23. There's going to be multi-entry for all of those. So, and like you said, it's now going to be the only consistent global competition. So every week you can get players, as long as they're under 23 years old, to play from all over the world to win whatever you want. And I'll be honest, I listened back to the show that Sean and I did, last week about U23, and the thought was generally just, or the way that he kind of used the extremes was, you shouldn't be using your best U23 players in U23 anymore because you should be using those guys to help you win cash. So he was like, you want to use the K League and J League and MLS U23s to win Jude. You don't want to use Jude to win the the K League and J League guys, which surely ignored that you can use Jude to win Jude. Like you can still, like, you want to use the best U23 scorers to win U23 players. Where do you fall on the fact that obviously every card that you win in U23 is a new season card, but like theoretically is only like your market of people that you could sell that if you wanted to is then kind of reliant on where they play. Like if you do win an MLS U23 player, people who play champions are not going to buy that card, or contenders or what. So like, do you think that from a reward selling standpoint, it's actually a little prohibitive almost?
Yeah, that's probably going off my original like negative thoughts about this situation, how it's all going to pan out. Yeah, that is actually still my biggest sort of worry, in the sense of, I think we can disregard anything tier 2 and above. I think like any tier 2 and under 23 that you get rewarded on paper should be able to fit into any of those categories, i.e., they're playable cards, tier 2s for the most part, right? Before the DMPs,
Sure.
join the prize pools. So then you look at, okay, so tier 3s and below. Like, what happens if I win tier 3s and below in under 23? Yeah, they're new season, okay. But are they really going to be sellable to other people in other competitions for them to use? Like, are they actual pieces of value? Now, as far as SO5 goes, my initial thought is not really, for the most part. There's obviously going to be new managers coming in, hopefully, and they might want to test the waters with certain cards that are a bit cheaper. And because he's under 23, they might take a shot on him. Like, there's going to be, reasons for people buying these, tier 3s and below, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can make an argument as well. Does collections come into that potentially? I don't know. Especially maybe the tier 4s and 5s that are under 23. If they're rookies, for example, there's going to be a collection bonus attached to that. Yeah, if you win them, you're probably going to keep them because you get like, the rookie bonus and the winning bonus, I guess, for collections. But yeah, if you are looking to sell them on, they'll have a bit of a premium, even if they're not usable in SO5. They don't have to be. They're 16. You've got, like, the collection bonus alone is probably enough for a bit. So is that enough though? Like, going back to the original point, I don't know. That they're just the things I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure people in the chat have other sort of, variables to come, to come into play with that. But like, yeah, that is my worry. Like, what happens to the tier 3s and below under 23, wise? Like that's where I'm a bit like, are they going to fit into other competitions? Then you could bring the argument in divisions, if we have a, contender div 4, div 5, whatever the lowest is going to be, there might be a spot for those type of scores. I don't know. That's the only rationale I can come up with right now.
Yeah, the reward thing, and I hadn't thought about that rookie situation, that you would think more rookie cards would be rewarded in U23 than the regional competitions. Even if they're tier 4 and 5s, like, rookies are really helpful for collections. And even if it's not your collection, you don't necessarily need to be the first owner of a rookie it helps, but selling rookies for collection purposes, is certainly a benefit. I hadn't thought of that. So I love that. I was listening to not the last So Rare Down Under, but the one before, I think, that Simon was pretty much like, if I play contenders, really the only rewards I win are going to be sellable to people playing contenders, like people who play champions or challengers exclusively, or exclusively don't play contenders. Like they will never want to buy contenders cards. And so if you do win a U23, that is a contender or challenger or champion, whatever it is, like the number of people, like the total market of people who would be interested in your card is lower than it was previously because of All-Star. Like when we all could play All-Star or any of the any of the caps, theoretically you could sell the card to anyone.
Yeah.
And now that with just the new structure changes it for everybody, not just for U23s. But it does help, I think, U23 that theoretically you could win in any one. And so there are people who want those cards. I'm interested. So this line from It's Guso, all other comps got more difficult to win / podium with division compression, except U23. It has stayed the same difficulty. So for Classic, it may have gotten better. I don't know. Like, I feel like you're going to feel not dumb, but you're not going to want to use new season cards in Classic U23. But surely if you focus on U23 and you win just like a banger card, you're going to use that, even though you can't win cash with it. Like, so I actually think it may even be harder than now because we're just getting more cards that gets into it, right?
Right. The only pushback I'd have on that is, say if you do win a banger in season card under 23 from under 23, sell it and buy the old card.
Yeah.
That's probably the only, if there's a big price discrepancy. I don't know, you win a Xavi Simons in season for new PSG card or whatever. He goes for $1,000, but you can buy the old whatever Leipzig card for 500. I don't know if it's going to be that much of a price difference, but that's kind of the thinking. And you've pocketed 500 then to go out and buy X, Y, and Z, right? I think as Gusto's saying is probably quite true there. I think it comes back to what you said with Sean, like winning, using J League and K League guys to win Jude. Like it all depends on what people are going to do with those old season under 23 cards. And I mean like the elite ones, which will obviously, we're going to get into as far as what we think they'll look like next year. But yeah, let's just say your Jude's. Like, is Jude realistically going to be used in under 23 next year if you've only got one of him and you play champ? I don't know. I don't know if he does. I think you're going to want to play him in either champ in season or La Liga in season, or even, the classics. Obviously, you can use one out of season, whatever, right? He's going to be, I'd like to bet there's more chance of him being in one of those four than there is in under 23. And that's obvious, it's 4 competitions to 1, but you know what I'm kind of getting at. I think he will live in those 4 tournaments, despite being an older Jude, more so than he would in under 23, in my opinion. And go on. Yeah.
No, I'm definitely agreeing with you there. I think one of the things we kind of overlook when it comes to like the elite U23s is that some of them are like elite players on the platform. Like Jude is not just like a great U23. He is literally one of the best players on the entire platform. So there was, to be honest, there really wasn't a time. I was going to say there was a time where like you could get away with like lower scoring U23s because they weren't as good as, Messi's scores or whatever, but it's really never been the case. Like the best U23 players are always near the top of literally the best players on the platform. And if that continues to be the case, then those are the players you're going to win playing U23.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I think that gets into the conversation of, we don't know the prize pools.
Yeah.
Which is something we've discussed. Like, do we know we can win a Jude in there? Yeah, on paper, you'd like to think so. Like, just thinking about it right now in our heads, it makes logical sense. Why wouldn't they, give out the best under 23 cards in that pool? But then you've got to think, well, it is the only global pool. So, my conservative brain goes, do they nerf it a little bit somewhere? Mm-hmm. Maybe you could argue it's being nerfed already because there's no in season, even though that would be a different comp, but you get the point. I don't know none of us know. It is the the honest answer, isn't it? Right now, nobody knows what is going to live in that prize pool. As far as tiers go, like it wouldn't make sense for them to not reward stars there, would it? Like, I think that would, like, there's just, I think under 23, you might as well just get rid of the whole of under 23s if you're doing that, right? Like, I know they've kept it because it seems like a lot of people in the community wanted it, and that's great. I get it, but at the same time, if you're going to nerf it that much, i.e. like not reward stars there, for example, should it live? I don't know. That's probably good talking point.
Yeah. So Scosmo thinks that U23 is just going to be the elite challenger and contenders. Top rewards based on value will be champ cards as price is massively inflated. 95% of the rewards will be sold on. I mean, why sell them on if you can continue to win those cards in U23? Like, I do think it just rationally makes sense that we'll see more challenger and contender rewards from U23 because I think they want people to win champ cards in champ. But
fair.
But I agree with you. Like, just get rid of it. If you really like, I think they wanted to get rid of it.
Right.
And I think they completely underestimated how many people really like it. And that's a different conversation than the threshold, which obviously a lot of people like, and they got rid of it. But like the just the whole idea of scouting and giving those players, like if you have a player and you're like, he's going to be real, he doesn't play that much right now, or he plays for this lower team, but one day he's going to be great. People don't want to buy that card now and wait 5 years until they inevitably get their move to champ. And then they wait and then they get their time. And so that's why they need to have U23 now. People want to buy these cards, but they also want to use them now. But I agree. It's now become the rare plus, rare pro, like, oh yeah, we have this comp over here too. Don't worry, we have that also. But like, I know Sean's argument, if you're somebody who's like, I'm going to focus on U23, is that you're effectively focusing on a competition that you know Sorare want to get rid of at some point. Whether they do or not, like none of us know.
Of course.
I'm not sure Sorare even know. I think you could make the argument that we've always seen the writing on the wall that Rare Plus would go and people continue to play that. So
yeah, fair play.
We'll see, but I don't know. I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about it. I have U23 players that are going to be U23 next season. And Harry and I talked about this before. I think we're going to go through kind of who the best U23 players will be for next season. And I don't know, like I have a couple of them and it's like, it's kind of, it seems fun, but it's also like, oh, they're not helping me win cash at that point.
Right. Direct cash anyway. In a roundabout way, maybe, yes, potentially, but yeah, not directly and yeah, maybe going on next year, that'll be we've seen it already with the Prem now. Like that is something that people, like to see in prize pools, isn't it? It's just the raw cash component of prizes. And yeah, but then, does that come into the argument? Does it make it easier then? Like, does under 23s become less competitive? Maybe. We don't know.
I'm actually really curious also if the U23 premium just disappears and they kind of just are worth what their scores are, or do they actually become even less valuable than regular cards because you can't use them in new season U23, that is.
Right.
Or do they
depends. Yeah. If they're champ, then no, I would say, in the sense of like, there's big prizes for the, champ. So, and Prem and so it's like, I can't see how they go down in value in any way, shape or form. Could you argue contenders and challenger cards are like that? I mean, then, I was just going to say, like, they're not expensive as, like, we've already seen that shift a little bit already, haven't we? Like, we're seeing champ and contender cards, not new 23, are like not as expensive as champ cards. So is that going to be the same in under 23? Probably.
Yeah.
Like, is Kochu, I know he's not doing very, like, be someone like that, or I mean, pick, I don't know, like Gertruda maybe now for Feyenoord. If he stays in Challenger, let's say, and he's got another year, so like, he's got an elite birthday, by the way. Who was I speaking? I was speaking to Jimmer. Yeah, Jimmer was telling me actually on the weekend that he does have an incredible birthday. But like, is he going to be more expensive or less expensive? Let's just say their scores are the exact same for whatever reason than like Schlotterbeck if he wasn't aging out, let's say, like.
So it's just kind of, it should theoretically just go back to the utility angle. Like, even if there was no U23, if you have two players that score exactly the same, one is 28 and one is 18. The way that everybody's like, I have this card for 10 years. Like, would you rather have this card for 15 years or this card for 5 years? And obviously thinking that far ahead in Sorare is absurd. Like I'm not saying, but people like
No,
try
it
to
is.
justify that. He's young, I'm going to have this card for a long time. So it's almost like there's still increased utility. It's not more than it is now when we have like active U23 competitions and the same number as the others. But theoretically, there should still be a premium on these cards simply because you can play them for longer in theory. Nobody really thinks that way, but
no, it depends. It's like a luxury, I think. Like when I was solely focused on under 23s and it got to a point where like I had, my 15 or however many cards I was putting out every week across X amount of, under 23 rare, pro, whatever, you are able to, stockpile cards that, are useful in the future. I think Scosmo was saying there that that's not really the case, but I think it depends on your gallery at the end of the day. Like if you want to be good at SO5, you can't just immediately come into this game and you can't just buy cards for 2 years, obviously, right? That just doesn't make sense. You want to win now. I get that. But I think it does get to a point for players in general, not in general, but there's a portion of people that if you have solely focused on one area, like myself, under 23s, I'm able to stockpile cards that I know, but I've got a good inkling that they're going to become good at some point. Like, I bought Brighton youngsters when the first Premier League cards came out, and one being, Andy Moran, for example. He's now playing in the Championship on loan. When he first went there, he was incredible. He's not doing it right now, and that's fine. But like I've yielded from his sort of development in that sense, and there's no telling where else that can go. But I'm not saying that always works out, but you get the point. You have to be in a good position already to kind of benefit from those type of used to be tier 3s and now they're tier 1s or whatever. I think Bob mentioned he won Enzo as like a tier 3 once. Yeah. Like there is situations where that is going to still happen, and I think that's what one part that we didn't mention at the start, maybe, or I didn't mention when we were talking about tier 3s and below as far as like sellability. Well, a tier 3 can turn into a star. Like they can. We've seen evidence of it. Tier 3 to star is a bit of a jump, but I think it will happen and maybe continue to happen. There's obviously smaller jumps between like a tier 2 maybe and a star, just one less tier to go in, but you get the point. There could be a sense of wanting to keep those tier 3s and tier 4s because they turn into tier 1s and tier 2s at some point. It just depends if you have the gallery to kind of warrant keeping them for that amount of time.
I think you could make the argument that a lower tier reward in U23 surely has more potential to become a star than the 30-year-old. Like if you're a 30-year-old tier 5, the idea that you or tier 3, the idea that you could be a star, it's not like the upside value-wise or even just utility-wise of a lower tier reward in U23 is surely higher than anywhere else.
It's got to be, hasn't it? It has to be. There's just more time for them to become, X tier effectively.
Right.
It's as simple as that, really, I would say. But yeah, no, there's definitely loads of interesting talking points on it. 100%.
Charlie said, I would rather have a 28-year-old that's in the Prem compared to the 18-year-old that plays in Croatia. I think this will be the way moving forward. So yes, I think that's the case. But also, like you would rather have the 28-year-old in the Prem compared to the 28-year-old in Croatia. Like that part of it is like you always want the Prem player at this point. Like we're learning that. Like you want the Prem guy. But from an upside perspective, and again, like U23s have almost always been about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the 18-year-old in Croatia could become the 28-year-old in the Prem at 24. That's 6 years. And Scosmo points out by the time they come good, the platform's likely completely different, which kills a big part of the long-term strategy of scouting, unless you're talking about a 6-month unicorn career trajectory like Enzo.
Thing is, though, I mean, this is, again, just like an anomaly sort of situation in a way, but like, I want a tier 4 Alan Montes, right, from the Mexican League. He then goes on to win me 4th in under 23 rare not too long after. I'd never used him ever. That was the first competition I'd ever used him in. So I won him the game week Mexico had finished last year. I should have won that competition, by the way, but I didn't, and that's fine. But it just showed. And then he ends up winning me, a tier 1 goalie, and like it's a tier 4. Tier
That's wild.
4 we're talking about here. Like, and to win, like, I've never been very good at under 23 rare. Like, it's never been somewhere that, like, for some reason I've obviously had quite a few high finishes. I've never podiumed there, but I've won under 23 rare pro like 6 times or something. Obviously I put my main cards there every time. So, there's obviously that, like, I do prioritize it, but I should be like in and around under 23 a lot more than I have been, I think. So, like, to do that then, and the scores were like ridiculous that weekend as well.
Yeah.
I'm not, this is not me saying that every tier 4 is going to do this, obviously.
Sure.
But again, it happens. I'm there's proof of it. So
Hayward said sometimes you can get super lucky with tier 4s. He won a tier 4 super rare goalkeeper, never played a game before, and a week later he's starting, which I believe is the Hamburg guy, right?
Yeah.
Malky said, out of interest, do a lot of U23 players bin their cards when they're no longer eligible and reinvest, or do they hold them?
That's a great question, because my old strategy would be yes. Like, I'd look at cards and be like, oh, he's got 6 months left. I'm going to try and shift this now. But I know we're in a different phase again with Threshold. But talking back to when, like, Super Rare Threshold came out, however long ago that did, I had a Gaiten Kook Super Rare card that was played in under 23 Super Rare, right? But I knew he was aging out, whatever. So I was like, in my head, you know what? I'm going to need a Super Rare goalkeeper that isn't under 23, because what's the point playing the premium to play in Cap 240 Super Rare?
Yeah.
So I just didn't sell him because what was the point? Like, I had a goalie that was, a Super Rare. What was the point of me selling him just because he's not under 23 and then buying another one realistically? So that was, So I think Malky's, it is a good question. And for the most part, people do, I would say, if they're like solely under 23 players. But like, Costa's a great example right now. Diogo Costa, like, he's aging out now in July. What is the point of me selling my Costa? Right, I could sell him and put money towards a Trubin. Fair enough. Like, if you have the extra money to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, Costa's national team goalie for Portugal, playing in the Euros. He's 23. I think he might be 24 now, but whatever. I can't see anyone displacing him for a little while for Portugal, realistically, unless like an anomaly, a young kid comes through. And he plays on a very dominant team. Whether he moves, fair enough. He does. He could be a champ goalie as well, which is another thing now that changes things. Because, like, he is the type of goalie that could end up going to a top 5 league quite comfortably if someone's willing to pay the money. So, like, for him, I think there's a lot more upside that downplays his under 23 eligibility sort of expiring in a weird way. Now, every goalie is going to be different. Every player is going to be different. But I do think, like, him, for example, there is a future Wolves goalie. Yeah, that sounds about right, to be fair.
Yeah, I think Costa is like a really interesting situation. It feels a little bit like Donnarumma last year, because it was like he's on a really dominant team. He's his national team goalkeeper. He's aging out. Like, what do you do? Because if you are just U23 focused, holding on to a card like that doesn't make sense. No. Because at some point, like, and obviously you can play U23 cards in any competition, but the Costa has the added part that he likely transfers at some point. Like, Donnarumma was already at that top club. People just kind of ignored that he's actually just terrible. But the Costa thing is interesting. And Quagatune here is saying U23 goalkeepers prices are definitely coming down, which I think is a general thought that, like, U23 is not that attractive anymore. And I don't buy it yet.
What, that it's not attractive?
I'm not sold that you shouldn't play it.
Right. Yeah. No, neither. I mean, I'm obviously going to be a tad more biased, but I'm not seeing enough downside personally to not do it if you're already doing it, type of thing.
And we kind of talked about it, and a bunch of people in the chat have mentioned it, that the rewards will determine it. Like, everyone is going to go where the best rewards are. And if the rewards are really bad in U23, people aren't going to play it. And maybe that's what they want. But as long as there is a thought that you can win the best card, which I guess now that PSG is back, maybe it's Mbappe, but like, as long as, like, maybe you can win Jude,
And Haaland.
and Holland, like people are going to play that. And I forget, I think it was Vita actually in a stream last week kind of commented that he'd be surprised if they gave out more than 3 Jude rares in the entire season of U23. Like there aren't that many Mbappes given out like when he was U23. Like
Right.
people
Yeah,
were
yeah.
more likely to win them in All-Star or Champ.
Mhm.
And so if it's kind of the same, but like every game week, it's like maybe I can win Jude until somebody does. And then the next week you're kind of like, oh, well, I'm not winning Jude this week.
I'll never win him ever again. Yeah.
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 And Johnny says soon it'll be as long as you can win Yamal.
100%. That's the
Yeah.
underrated part that we're not thinking about, and well, not mentioned yet. And Channy sort of brought up an unbelievable point: is those 16, 17-year-old to come straight off the conveyor belt in XYZ Academy and just start playing straight away. And that, I know it happens every year, but there's only, let's say, 15 to 20 of them. But as far as cards go, we don't know how many of those will have cards, whatever that looks like. I think you've got to like look at that as well and go, hang on a minute, like that is a perk of playing under 23s on paper, because Yamal wasn't a star rare coming into the game. I don't think he might have been like a tier 1 for a bit, and now he's probably a star for now. But like I won Isaiah Emery as a tier 1 in the summer, so it's like they're not going to come in at tiers 4s. I'm not saying they will, but like they're not going to come in at stars most of the time, if that makes sense, unless they've already had cards like a Trubin or whatever. But if they're like brand new to the game, like a Yamin Yamal, I think he came in as a tier 1, I believe. So it's like that. Those are really interesting avenues to to want to play that division as well, in my opinion.
I'm not gonna. Let's see. It looks like. Oh wait, I have it. Yamal came in as a star, but then actually dipped.
Okay.
As a tier into a tier 1. There we go.
Because like the first mid would have been quite hefty.
Right. But yeah, he dipped a little bit into the tier 1, at least for rare.
A couple of game weeks. Okay. Yeah.
Super rare is fun. Yeah, it's like that. It's Goose who said he wanted a Julian Alvarez pre-KDB injuries at tier 1. That's good question, Sam. Where did Endrick come in? I'm guessing Endrick was always a star.
He was a star in America, definitely, wasn't he? Because it came at a time where like prizes, weren't great, were they?
Yeah.
But
in All-Star, he's been a star. Yeah, he's always a star.
Mm-hmm. He did.
He was the last one in the. Oh,
no way.
So here is a tier 1 in U23 a few game weeks ago.
Yeah,
somebody won him as a tier 1. It was a podium reward, so they were probably like, "Oh, okay," but like he was a tier 1.
Mm-hmm. It's fun. And like
fun.
From what we don't know yet about divisions, but maybe know, is obviously there's good cards given out on every podium, if that makes sense, as far as the divisions go, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, probably Division 1 are going to get better cards than Div 4, and that makes obviously a lot of sense. But could you win an Endrick as a tier? I know he might not be a tier 1 next year, let's say, but if he was, could you win one of them in Division 2 or 3 maybe? And it's just like, you're not even competing in the best division under 23s and you're winning good cards. This is all hypothetical. Nobody knows how this is all gonna, work. But Palmer's a tier 2. That is like, that's like one of the best examples of this year, I would say, of like what a rise that will be and is being, I guess. You might not be priced as a star now, but like he's on the borderline. He has to be.
Yep.
Yeah. That's an amazing example, actually, I would say, of like a tier 2 going to a star, or close. Is that close? Yeah. Is he a star now? Yeah.
He's a star in limited, but not. Okay. He has not been a star in rare yet.
Got you.
He has in super rare.
Yeah.
Oh, I take that back. Ooh. Oh, he was a U23 star,
right?
But not in All-Star yet. Yeah.
Like those are the fun ones. It's going from tier 2 to star. Like I think tier 3 to star is like an absolute unicorn. I think like someone said, Scosmo might have said in the chat or whatever, like an Enzo, that doesn't happen very often. But like tier 2 to stars, again, probably doesn't happen, but there's living proof like they do happen.
Yeah. Coltrane said they also want a Bakayoko as a tier 2. Yeah. I mean, it's
tier 2 to star again. Yeah.
Sir Andre said Armindo Sayeb.
Yeah, I've heard of
The
him.
great U23 card, scored lately, and I think Germany will call him up. Let's check him out. Oh, Julian Green teammate.
Yeah. Some goals. Fun.
Yeah, 5 and 4. Not bad. 2027 U23. Wow. Yeah. Although let's do that quickly, actually, because I started this new watch list. I believe it's public. Is it? Yeah. Top U23s for 24-25, maybe.
Come on then.
Jude's here.
Jude's in.
So I was actually, this is just the regular player rankings on Sorare data, which is by L15, and like Weefer is first. He's U23 right now. He ages out though, but like here's Jude. And let's see. Oh, I thought Somerville would come. Oh, there he is.
Saka.
Yeah. Right. Like, you want to win Saka?
Feels quite fun.
Here we go. All right. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, let's see what we got for next season.
So Saka, we know.
Got to add Saka, yeah.
Season.
That one's an interesting one.
Ignacio is still...
For ages as well.
Ages.
Yeah.
I'll add him. What do you think about Somerville in the Prem?
I mean, we've seen it already is the issue.
Like, but you know, he's got another season under his belt of
yeah, I mean, I'm
not buying.
He might move. Might have a good move somewhere potentially. I don't know if I would put him in the conversation right now though for next season. In my opinion,
that's fine.
I think there's probably safer ones. Like, let's just say Foden. Foden's probably easy to throw in right now. Even though actually, yeah, Foden's got a year maybe.
I like this from Charlie. Somerville is Trezor. Is Foden? Nope.
Oh no, he's done. Yeah, he's got a horrible birthday. We mentioned this.
May 27. Oh,
yeah. Who would want to be born in May?
Saquet's going to Genk, isn't he?
There's been rumors of that, yeah, but he will on paper be going back to Freiburg for now. So he could be really good, but again, there's too many variables I think to look at there. Gertrude's got another year. Yeah, you could argue Brobby's probably in there again, move dependent, but there was Leipzig rumors one there for Gertrude.
I'll put him on.
Yeah, I think he deserves to be in there.
What do you think about Brobby?
Wow, I don't know. It's a weird one. Depends where he is, I guess. Yeah. But I still don't think I don't know. Yeah, I still think they'll be better than him, like Udoku's, Haaland's. Disciple probably gets in somewhere, you'd like to think.
Oh, he's no doubt for me.
Firmly in, isn't he? Trying to think. It's tough, isn't it? Like,
he's been really good.
He's been great, yeah. It's just like, are they good for the whole season? Is kind of which is not many players, but they come into form and whatever. Yeah, he probably gets on the list, isn't he? Like, an interesting one is Xavi Simons. He'll be going back to PSG. Like, how good is he next year? Yeah, with Zaire Emery, and there could be some really interesting situations there. Vinny and Rodrigo. There's no way you can't put them in on paper. They both have a year, maybe. Both have, or one has 2026, maybe. Rodrigo, I can't remember. Vinny's 25.
Vinny's aging out now? Oh, 2025.
No, sorry. Yeah, 2025. Yeah. Sorry. I don't know what Rodrigo is, though. You might have to check that one, maybe. Elise, interesting one, but, does he move?
Yeah. I mean, the move is like the only one that keeps him locked in this list, right?
Right. Yeah. 100%. Antonio Silva, João Neves. Yeah, there's some good shouts in the chat that definitely have to be in contention. Almada. Does Almada get?
Who was the other one?
Move. Antonio Silva, sorry. And then for goalies, you're looking at, Chevalier, like Mikey Baston saying. Trubin. Who else are we looking at? Big Gavin Bazanu. Come on. Well, if they stay in the champ,
I was going to say, if they stay in the champ.
Yeah. Van der Vaart obviously moving to Leipzig, which is an interesting one. We haven't put Haaland down there yet.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of him.
Baz will be in the Prem sometime. Big statement. James Trafford in the champ. It's an interesting one.
Is James Trafford in the champ the best U23 goalkeeper on the platform?
Depends how they're playing football, I would say, as far as like his company there. Like, are they playing Burnley, like old Burnley football? Or is it like is it modern football?
That's
I don't know. Yeah, there's a good. Yeah, there's definitely some viability in that statement. 100%.
I'll put
Kobe
him in
Mino.
because I like Adam.
Kobe Mino cards, by the way. That is one thing we haven't thought about. I know his scores are probably not even that good yet.
Yeah.
They're probably fine, but like, yeah.
I was going to say, like, this is, you would imagine that the price runs like when he gets in, but like these scores are a tier 3 card.
Yeah, it's hard to get buying that. Like, it's hard for me to want to buy that card.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Obviously, I'd love to win one. The idea is to win one card like this because, yeah, but the issue is he comes in probably really hot as a price. Well, obviously, he's
right.
That's an issue. Davis at Real Madrid could be fun. Camavinga. I mean, yeah, there's loads of names we could throw in.
Is Tchouaméni aging out?
Yeah, Tchouaméni is aging out. Szoboszlai, interesting one.
I mean, if he plays regularly, he's
if he's got merit, he's 100%. João Gomez at Wolves. I mean, I don't know if I could. It's hard to put him in. He looks good, but like I don't know if I'd have him in this like elite list, if we should call it.
Your boy age out? Oh, he does.
He does. Yeah, he does.
Killer. Let's see who else we got.
João Pedro, maybe
at
Brighton. That he's probably got a decent chance.
He's a fun player.
Yeah. Valentin Barco. Yeah. Come on.
Does he? Oh, Boniface is still there.
That one's interesting. He has to be on the list. Kudus is an interesting one. Yeah, just Mike it. Probably has to be in there somewhere. There's going to be load. Bakayoko, he's still 20, by the way.
Oh, Vert. Again. Oh my God.
Vert, yeah. Vert is a big one. Frimpong as well. Probably has to be on the list. Definitely has to be on the list. Colwill at centre-back. That's an interesting one. It's tough, isn't it? These Premier League players, like...
I know.
None of them, like, you know, under 23-wise, do they even score that well? I know Cole Palmer has been, but, like... Is there many really good Premier League scorers?
Timber?
I mean...
Just for you.
Just for me, thank you. I mean, his brother might have a chance. Playing at Arsenal.
Maybe.
Owen Beck? Come on. Best defender on the platform.
I'm going to put Simons on. I mean, Beck... And like somebody saying, Connor Bradley, like
it's hard, isn't it?
That's really hard.
Yeah, especially behind. Yeah, the Bradley one, he has scored good already, but the issue is these trends.
Right.
Garnacho, Barcola, those are interesting ones. Lenny Yoro, there's Lenny Yoro. Sorry, yeah.
Where's he going again? Juve?
No, there's Real Madrid rumors as well. There's like big
for Yoro.
Yeah. There's good Real Madrid rumors. I think everyone's after him, obviously, but yeah, I'm pretty sure Real are like really interested in him. Take Kubo,
that young?
Yeah, Kubo's really young, or maybe not really young, 22. Wow. Yeah,
he's a fun one.
Yeah, he's really interesting as a forward. Barcola's fun. Trubin, we've done.
Is Meslier age out? Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Goalie's an interesting one, isn't it? You're basically what? Trubin, Bazunu, and Chevalier.
I love this. We go through all of this. It's just my U23.
We're back, baby.
There's Montez.
There he is, the beast. Santi Rod ages out. Yeah. Do we do Frimpong, or does he even age out? I don't know. He does he?
Oh, does he? I put him on
I don't know.
without
Oh, you
even
did.
thinking. No, he's got
Yeah,
another year.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Nico Williams is got. Yeah, people have said. Yeah, I mean he's in the conversation ish. I'd say.
Yeah, like he might be the worst one on the list.
Maybe.
No offense to Nico Williams, but I'm not sure.
Maybe it depends if he moves. I don't know.
This Stukers guys.
He's been good.
His forward cards are fun. Like that's a playable really U23 forward.
I think he's like 40 quid right now, by the way. Is his new it might be because his new card is mid, isn't it? I've seen mid cards. Yeah, that's why. Okay. Oscar Gluch, that's an interesting one. Xerxes an interesting one. Does he age out, Josh Xerxes? I've got a feeling he does. Maybe he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He's been fun. Bart Verbruggen. How haven't we mentioned Bart? Come on. Were you waiting for that one?
I think if you gave me 1,000 players to put on this list, I was not going to get to that. You're right. He deserves to be there.
He probably does deserve to be there after getting his first clean sheet in 12 games.
What do you think about Ugalde in Russia?
It's tough, isn't it? We need to see that kind of happen.
Yeah.
But like, it's Russia.
I mean, I feel like we're going to say this for 10 years. Tell if he gets a move away.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched him midweek, actually. He looked okay. I don't know. How many have we got there? 31 players. It's probably 40, isn't there? Comfortably. That were like, these are the 40 players you really want to win next year, basically.
Right. Let me just see if there's anybody who's dropped that we didn't.
Vitinha ages out. Oh, Musiala. We didn't do Musiala.
Yeah, so a few people said him, so I threw him on, yeah.
Fair, okay.
Oh, yeah, Kavlina, if he goes to Dinamo Zagreb.
Yeah, that could be a shout. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Where's Thiago going again? Brentford?
Brentford, yeah. Yeah. Toblason. What a shout. I mean, how can we not?
Of course, he could get relegated, but will not.
Right. Al Canus is a really interesting one. Very good scorer. Just scored 100 this weekend, I think. Yeah. He went to African Cup, so his scores kind of dipped, but 2028.
That's crazy.
Tolkien, baby.
Yeah.
Yari. How can we forget Yari? Come on. It's like I'm purposely not pumping my own players here.
Yeah, right. Do you know what's interesting, though, is that I feel like the ones that we've missed are cards that there are so many of them. Like Yari's got 10 billion cards, like 295 rares at the age of 22. So I feel like those are the guys we miss because we're just like, oh, sure. Either we think they age out or we're just like so used to them that they're, I don't know why we're forgetting about them. I think that's probably, does Kvaratskhelia age out?
I think he's fine. Yeah.
New year. I'll add him.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's getting pissed winning him.
Definitely not.
James Garner?
Yeah, it's a fun one. I was just looking at that. Scavellini. There's loads that could. Lee Kang In, I think he has another year, maybe.
I think you're right.
Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, he does. That one's fun.
He just needs to play.
Yeah.
I don't think we even put Yamal on the list yet.
We didn't.
And then like Pedri and Gavi.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. How can we not? Well, maybe not Gavi.
Really?
I mean, I don't know.
2029?
Yeah. He's got to be on there, hasn't he? Yeah. Sesko, Højlund from United. Yeah, there's a lot.
There's no way I'm ever adding Sesko to a list. No way.
Yeah, we can't add Sesko. Branthwaite's an interesting one. He'll be, I think he's amazing, Jared Branthwaite. I don't know how well he scored well last night, actually, but Højlund probably makes the list, doesn't he? Yeah.
I'll do it just for Haber. Although
People are saying
probably add-
Makoku. I'm not having Makoku. Sorry, lads. Don't think he deserves it. It's fun.
I'll give you that one, Quinny. Scalvini for those listening. Yeah, so there are like no U23 players left.
Yeah, none of us can play this tournament. It's dead. Did we put Zaya Emery down?
No, I don't think I put Cole Palmer down either.
Didn't you? Oh, there's actually quite a lot, actually, isn't there? To be fair.
You know what's funny is that we did this last year. I think there's actually a list somewhere. Like there's a Sorare data list that we did last year of the top U23 players for this year, and I bet none of these guys are on it because the whole conversation was how bad it was.
Right. Okay.
And
yeah.
There's Pedri finally. Anthony Gordon.
Gordon, yeah.
It's my boy here.
Keep it quiet. Keep it quiet. Agalde probably. Agate, sorry. Agalde.
Oh,
Manuel Agate. Yeah. I think he has another year.
Now that he finally has cards.
Yeah.
Other than like the 6 of sporting ones that he got.
Yeah.
There's Branthwaite. There's Verbruggen. Oh, Savio. I think somebody said Savio before, which I didn't add.
Yeah, they did actually, didn't they? Rodrigo. Did we add Rodrigo after?
This guy?
Zalazar. Yeah, he's actually pretty decent.
I was going to say.
But he's 24, so he's aging out. And Dogi from Tottenham. Yeah, he's probably in the conversation. Maybe. Depends. Well, Italy international and stuff. That could be a quite fun one.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Saliba. We haven't even done Saliba. I know Saliba hasn't actually scored that well, really. But definitely probably deserves to be on the list somewhere.
I think Saliba is the biggest mismatched player on the platform of somebody's real life ability to their Sorare scores.
Yeah, he is. He absolutely is.
Who was the other one? Udogi. I'll add him. Why not?
We'll add him. Why not?
What did you think about? It's not Vermeer. Isn't it Vermalion or something like that?
Arthur Veerman?
Is that how you say his name? Veerman?
Yeah.
I thought it was like.
I think so.
No, it's like
Arthur.
Vermeeren. There we go.
Vermeeren, yeah. Vermeeren, yeah. I mean, yeah, you probably deserves to be on there somewhere.
It's just so hard putting any although they've been. I say that, and plenty of the Atletico Madrid guys have been good this year.
Yeah, they have, haven't they? How many is that? 54?
Is it that many?
I think so. Oh, no.
Yeah, 54.
Yeah, 54. It's a decent chunk. And how many of them are champ led? Have a look. If you could filter it.
Yeah.
I'd say majority. If not like 80%.
Does that? Jeez. It'd be actually better to take the non-champ.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Try that. So this is the whole list.
Right.
And Van de Voort moves.
There's 12 there, I think. So 11. So 40.
That's crazy.
44 champ. That's literally 80%. Literally on the dot.
On the dot, yeah.
Yeah, basically on the dot.
What do you think about this? Got to get Brennan in there.
Get him in there, Al. Yeah, thank you for sticking up. No, he doesn't deserve it. I'm joking.
No, he really doesn't.
He doesn't.
That's really interesting. That basically, now granted, we're playing like this list was the best. Like the best. So the idea is like these are the players that we want to win. But surely these are the easiest sales if you do win them.
Yeah.
Like people want to buy champ cards, and most of the U23s are already champ.
You could argue Bazunu might be champ next year as well. Like there's 2 probably in there then. So again, I think it is on the dot basically. So yeah, that's a good point. So basically, if you are finishing high up in U23 on paper, let's just say they are giving out champ cards, champ U23 cards in under 23. You know, you've got a decent chance of getting a champ under 23 card from what we're looking at here. Realistically,
Right.
we just do.
Right.
Like
Theoretically, this is the star and tier 1 pool.
Yeah, it can't be any low. Maybe tier 2 on the odd occasion if someone's injured or whatever. Like, yeah. But you're right. This is star and tier 1 basically for next year on paper. Seems pretty enticing to me. It seems like a cheat code way of getting champ cards in, right? If we're looking at it that way.
It feels it.
To a Cavin's good, but we won't get mints, will we, is the issue.
Oh, that's true.
Well, unless
he's got plenty of cards, though.
For sure. Yeah, no. But I mean, like in the pools, you can't win him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's fun. Good player.
I had his limited for a while. Yeah, so if anybody wants this list here, I'm just going to drop it in the live chat because it's a public list on Sorare data. If not, anybody listening, just search for top U23s for 2024-25, maybe. Yeah. Let's see, Harry. 2 people have liked it so far. Let's see who gets on that. Not to be confused with the looking up with Laird watch list. That one will never will never be beaten.
Never. Yeah, I don't know. It's fun.
I don't know how somehow Yari is the cheapest player on this list.
Wow.
What are we doing, lads?
That's wild. Jeez. Well, yeah.
Just let's just pump Yari for a little bit here.
Ever since his little comeback, he's had 290s and above, which is pretty fun. It's actually really decent, to be fair, in like 10 games or whatever.
Attaboy, Scott. I guess I'll play U23 then. I mean, if obviously you're not guaranteed to win a champ card, and you obviously, based on this list, you have to finish high in the rankings in order to get these types of players, but you can't win those players in contenders and challengers
with cards that aren't, like you can't win those champ under 23 cards unless you have champ cards, if that makes sense, in champ.
Right.
These cards are just not available elsewhere unless you're willing to go buy champ cards, basically for 80% of this pool. So yeah, but it all comes back to Laird, what does the prize pool look like at the end of the day? We can talk about it all day long, but until it's in front of us, until we can see it, we can see those names, we can see the stars, we can see the tier 1s.
Yeah.
It's just all speculation, right?
Yeah. So Chani and Skazmo were trying to figure out all of the goalkeepers for next season.
There'll be a decent list. I'd say like 15.
It's always way more than you think.
Yeah, it's loads more than like Campalat's under 23 next year. Like little things like that. You don't even like think about them. But the high profile ones, there's not many. If we're talking high profile, we're talking like less than 5. I mean, we did what? Maybe 3 or 4 or 5 there. Like there's not that many. How many were on this list? Bazunu, but you can't win him yet.
Yeah, Trubin, you can win. Verbruggen, you can win. Van de Voort. Trafford, you will not if they get relegated, I'm guessing.
Oh, Toulouse goalie as well. Just might get put up a good point. Restes.
Oh, yeah. Restes.
He'll definitely be in there, I'd say.
Yep.
There's probably 20 under 23 goalkeepers I can not think of, but I'd guess they'd be around that next year.
And they pop up all the time.
Oh, all the time. All the time. They really do.
But yeah, your boy Youngdahl, is he back?
I think he got a clean sheet last game. Pretty sure he did. Yeah, he did. He's back.
He's very back.
Baby. Yeah.
Where is Cremonese in Serie B? You don't want the terrible news that they got promoted. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Well, then he becomes a champ card.
Right. Does he become more valuable then? He does, surely. Like, he has to.
Surely.
Because he does both things. He does both, both competitions.
Yeah, Bulka, somebody mentioned him, but he's already 24, so he will not.
Right, yeah. Leo Roman. There's loads. There's actually a lot. I was just thinking then, could you argue, Laird, that like under 23 players from Bundesliga, La Liga, and Prem are the most expensive because they can play in under 23 and then, classics on both of their competition and champ, yeah?
Yes, I would agree with you.
They have the most, they have 5 spots where they can play.
Yeah.
If I'm saying that right.
Yep.
2-2-1. Yeah, it is. So
like who?
that's like Bart. We didn't even do Mamadashvili, by the way.
I was going to bring him up, and somebody brought up Jorgensen also from Villarreal.
From Villarreal, yeah.
So the only problem I have with both of them is they're terrible scorers.
Yeah.
Like,
but
they're really like Mamadashvili, who's been better lately, but like literally an L40 of 47. We forgot
Atabolu, yeah. Mm-hmm. Campos is on loan from Levante. Yeah, that's a good one, Sir Rob. I've got Campos myself. I forgot about that.
So Jorgensen right here, like he scores. He's the worst champ U23 goalie right now.
Interesting. Villarreal suck right now.
They're so bad. And Villarreal too, I believe, are the worst team in the second division.
They are, but Ika Alvarez actually scores better than Jorgensen, which is mental. Right. He actually does.
Yeah.
He got like 50. He won me a tier 2 this weekend, which in like all-star rare plus.
Yeah.
Ika Alvarez, ladies and gentlemen. So
it's Gusto still has a few months of Okoye left in U23, but this is the whole list of current U23 goalies in champ who have played at least 7 times. Like, I guess even if we just change it to, let's change it to 2 starts in the last 15. I don't even know who this guy is.
He's in League One. Oh no, Alaves.
And then back to the bench. Oh, he played in AFCON.
Yeah.
So he's not really. He shouldn't really be there. Okay.
No.
Carnesecchi is the Atalanta guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he ages
out. Yeah.
Yeah. So from a champ perspective, it's a short list for sure.
It really is
for now.
Yeah. There's an argument to say. Well, there's not actually. I don't know. Like, who is the best goalie that you'd want here? Really? Like, it's either Chevalier if he doesn't move, I'd say.
Yeah.
Or in a weird, twisted world, it's Bart Verbruggen because he's the Prem one. If he's like a locked start, I know there's ifs there, but right, because Chevalier's a Ligue 1, so he go on.
Yes, exactly what we were going to say. Like, he doesn't have a domestic league in-season comp.
Exactly.
I think the only one that you can also consider is Van de Voort.
Right, because of Bundesliga and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, theoretically, Mamadashvili and Jorgensen have the same thing. Like, they have like La Liga champ and U23, but they're terrible.
Yeah, and I think Mamadashvili probably moves, to be honest. It looks like that could be a thing. So yeah, you're left with probably Jorgensen, I'd argue. What happens if Villarreal get relegated? Can they even get relegated? Because they can't play in the same league as 2, no? Like Villarreal 2.
Does 2 get relegated also? Whoops, that's not what I meant. Jorgensen.
Oh, you mean it?
Like do they just automatically relegate Villarreal too?
Oh, right, yeah, to go into the 3rd division. Maybe. I actually don't know how that works. They probably don't go down though. Well,
I was going to say they're far enough.
I mean,
what is they? 26 and 17 is the that's probably enough.
It is probably enough to be fair, but
what's
2 would have to go down, Graham says. Interesting. Ike Alvarez.
There he is.
There he is.
Oh, but he's shown as Villarreal 2.
Yeah, he's listed as
not 2, 1.
Because like he'll play on the bench, or go on the bench a lot of the time, and then actually start for the second team.
Right. There we go.
There they are.
Why do I keep getting? There we go.
There we go.
They're on 20. I mean, they're 1 point out.
Yeah.
Agent Cooper says your Jason Steele disrespect is off the charts.
That is a complete lie. I've just bought
That
the
was
guy.
just about to
I've literally
a lot of
spent
money
my
this
hard-earned
weekend
money.
because of
Yeah.
Jason's.
If I didn't play him, I'd be £3,000 better off this weekend. I believed in him too much, Agent Cooper, actually.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. You liked him too much.
Yeah.
Mike said the second side would automatically get relegated too.
Wow.
But yeah, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Quinny says it's not. VRL not going down. Heard it here first. This is, I don't know, it's interesting that it's basically all of the champ, like it's all the champ outfield players, and then you want a challenger, contender, goalkeeper, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That feels like how it's, but then that kind of makes sense, right? The best the best young players in the world probably should be playing for the five biggest leagues.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, and performing well. Otherwise, they shouldn't really be there for the most part.
Stars should be stars.
Stars should
and
be
goalies
stars,
are
baby.
just goalies.
Yeah.
This midfield list is nuts, though. Like Jude, Saka, DeKetelaere, Verts, Simons, Kudus, Musiala. Jeez.
Palmer.
Palmer, Pedri, Kamavinga.
Yeah, midfield always stacked, isn't it? I think we had this conversation last year about the forwards. It was like, forwards are looking a bit dodgy this year, and we've had Vinny, Rodrigo, whatever in spells, and we have Vert. Unfortunately, we have Vert and Musiala forward cards, which kind of they float, obviously, right?
Yeah.
João Pedro, Boniface was amazing for a bit. Obviously, we still have Alvarez, Penda. Like, I don't know. I think it's looking back, I was kind of worried about where the forwards would come from as far as good scorers, but no, there has been a good fair few. Yeah, Neto. Yeah. There really has. That back was like actually ridiculous. I know he got red carded this weekend, but like his AA is like, I mean, we did him on looking up with Laird. His AA is like off the charts really for a forward.
Jeez.
40 AA as a forward. Like, what are we doing here? In a 3-1 loss, obviously he doesn't get the goals concessions, but like
no big chance created and still 25.
No double-double?
6 fouls drawn.
Don't think he got a double-double, did he? No.
The fouls drawn should be part of the double-double.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably should actually.
No, we didn't add.
He's back.
You show me a player who has U23 eligibility until 2026 who can win. Where is it here? 11 contests in one game.
I want to see the highlights of that game.
It's just him running by people.
Yeah.
That's all.
He's just skipping past everyone.
That BCM's a killer.
That's horrible.
Agent Cooper said there will always be a random 2 or 3 U23 goalkeepers that come from out of absolutely nowhere. So I actually disagree with you because the number is like 12. It's so much higher than we thought. It's not 2 or 3. It's literally like 10 to 20. The
Leicester goalkeeper right now, if he's Prem next year, I think he's 23 though. I don't know how his birthday falls. Have a look into that one actually. That could be a fun one. I think he's Danish as well.
Is that?
If we can get Leicester up maybe just before we wrap up. I just want to know if he ages out or not. I'm going to go with yes, actually.
Hermanson?
Yeah.
July 10th.
No. He's an elite boy. That is ridiculous. What are the chances, Laird? So there's another one to add to the list.
There's another one, yeah.
Star tier 1, easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where's that watch list? Here we go. It's weird because like the forwards are good, but the midfielders are just so much better.
Yeah, I agree. There's just more to choose from, I guess, from the midfielders, and like forwards are just hard, aren't they, to really get and perform well. That like this weekend, my biggest worry and my downside was or what let me down, sorry, the most was forwards. Like just
Mhm.
scoring goals and getting me decisives. I know AA comes to play, but I just need a goal sometimes. Just give me a goal. Give me an assist. I'll take 60.
Sure.
You know, that really let me down this weekend in loads of lineups, actually. But you go, you know, I own Jude, I own this, not Jude, I own Vinny. Like you try, you know, you can only do so much a lot of the
Yeah.
time. Like you own some of the good cards, but you know, they're just not going to score every week. So that's just part of it.
I just realized that we could have just looked up here.
Nice.
So yeah, 7 goalies, 13 defenders, 18 midfielders, and 16 forwards. 42 in champ.
With some maybe going up or down depending on promotions. Yeah, it's a
Right.
good chunk. It's a big chunk.
So Agent Cooper said I meant 2 or 3 playable goalkeepers, but like
there's way more, I'd say.
Everyone's playable. Like any goalkeeper's playable.
Right. Especially under 23, I would say. Yeah.
Right.
Oscar Gluch's an interesting one, yeah.
Yeah,
depending on moves, and I'm trying to sell mine right now if anyone wants to buy mine. He actually did really well last game. A lot of AA, but
I don't
game
know
before
how,
that, he was shocking.
Oh wow. I don't know how anyone comfortably buys anyone
From Salzburg. Yeah, I won him, to be fair. Like I was lucky to win him. So yeah, I don't like getting involved with the Salzburg boys at all.
Mm-mm. He said
Apart
recent
from
news on
Soleil.
Aston Villa.
Yeah, I saw that. Just Mike, actually.
Soleil's still there? Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, to be honest.
Oh, I guess he aged out too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. See, I think everyone's excited now. Everyone's like, let me get some U23s. But again, just goes back to what the rewards look like. We know that they will not look like cash. That's all we know.
Apart from the podium on Div 1.
Right. Apart from the podium where you have to beat Harry in Division 1. And other than that, yeah, we'll see what happens. Cool. So thank you to everybody for coming. If you could please like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Shout out to Quinny, who was here earlier. I will be back tomorrow with Surfula to talk about contenders. I'm going from U23 to just talking about contenders tomorrow. We're just, by the end of this week, nobody's going to want to play champ. That's all I'm going to say. That's the goal here this week. So thank you everybody for coming, and we'll see you around.